Right, listener name. So you sent over this article, $18,750 leak, Why Slow Late Response is Killing Real Estate Deals in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that just kind of like jumped off the page for me right away was this idea that even a small delay, like just delaying a response to a lead on a $950,000 listing could potentially cost over $1,000 in commission, like
Yeah,
$1,140.
it's
It's just crazy.
yeah, no, it really highlights, I think, a crucial point for you, listener name, that this whole deep dive we're doing into this.
Yeah.
It's not just about kind of sharing numbers and things like that. It's about understanding a fundamental aspect of success, I think, in your field,
Right.
which is this profound impact of timely engagement with valuable leads,
Yep.
right? And the article really suggests that slow responses aren't just sort of a minor slip up.
Right.
They represent a significant and often unnoticed erosion of your potential income, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to really kind of dissect this data,
Right.
figure out why these missed opportunities are so prevalent, and more importantly, what you can do about it.
Okay, so like let's get into this. Like they call it the brutal math. And for agents like yourself who specialize in these properties listed at $750,000 or more, the core finding here is pretty stark.
Yeah.
They say that for every single minute that you delay in responding to a new lead,
Yeah.
the likelihood of actually converting that lead drops by a full 6%.
Yep.
6% per minute.
Wow.
That sounds
That's huge.
incredibly steep.
Yeah.
I mean, is there data in here that supports such a dramatic figure, and
Yeah.
what might be driving such a rapid decline?
So the article really emphasizes that in this luxury market, right?
Mhm.
Potential buyers are often moving very, very quickly,
Yeah,
and they're likely engaging with multiple agents, simultaneously.
right.
So that initial responsiveness can be a really critical factor in establishing that connection, right? And sort of demonstrating your commitment. So think about it this way, right? A delay of even a few minutes
Yeah.
could mean the difference between you being that first point of contact,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being just another name in a long list.
And for a $750,000 property or more, that's
Exactly. And when you connect this 6% per minute drop to the high value of these transactions, right? Like the article does, even a seemingly small delay,
yeah.
like we said, can have significant financial repercussions.
Yeah.
And they actually calculated it out,
Okay.
that for the average high-performing agent in this segment, those accumulated minutes of delay
Yeah.
could translate to around $18,750 in lost monthly commissions.
Wow. It's a lot of
A
money.
hefty chunk of change that might be slipping away unnoticed.
Yeah, it really is. And I know from speaking with people in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe this resonates with you, listener name, that these delays aren't usually intentional, right? Like
Right.
nobody's sitting there going, I'm going to wait 3 hours to respond to this.
Please.
It's the article touches on this incredible juggling act that real estate agents face.
Okay.
We're talking about an average of 31 hours a week dedicated to lead follow-up,
Right.
another 19 hours consumed by paperwork.
Wow.
That leaves surprisingly little time,
Yeah.
just 14 hours a week, for actually engaging with clients face to face.
Right.
So it's a significant time crunch that's hard to ignore.
Absolutely. And I think that, that significant potential loss that we just discussed kind of naturally leads us to wonder, why are these delays so common in the first place?
Right.
And that brings us directly to this time crunch that agents face that you
Yeah.
just pointed out.
Right.
So how does this reality of time constraints actually manifest in average response times across the industry, according to the article?
Well, the picture that they paint is quite sobering.
Right.
Apparently, only about 35% of agents manage to respond to a new lead within the first 15 minutes.
Wow.
And even more concerning is that a full 22% take over 24 hours to get back to someone. Think about that listener name.
Wow.
A potential buyer reaching out about a substantial high-value property
Yeah.
and not hearing back for an entire day.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah.
Especially in today's, fast-paced digital world.
Exactly. And the consequence, as the article highlights, is that a significant 48% of luxury property inquiries
Yeah.
end up being abandoned
Wow.
due to these slow response times.
Keys.
So it really highlights how demanding, this luxury market is, listener name.
Yeah.
These buyers aren't just looking for properties.
Right.
They're expecting a premium experience from the very first interaction.
Absolutely.
And that immediate response signals, professionalism and attentiveness.
Yeah.
If they don't receive that, prompt attention, they're highly likely to move on to an agent who does provide that level of service.
Right. And I think this anecdote that they share in the article about an agent named James in San Francisco really drives this home.
Okay, yeah.
This guy was apparently closing an impressive $12 million in deals annually.
Wow.
But when they actually tracked his average response times to new inquiries,
Yeah.
they discovered he was taking over 3 hours to get back to people,
Wow.
even with an administrative assistant.
Wow. That's a long time.
It's a long time. And, he admitted to them that, his somewhat disappointing conversion rates suddenly made a lot more sense in that context.
Yeah.
It's almost sobering to think that someone closing that much business could still be leaving so much on the table
Right.
due to something seemingly minor like response time.
It really underscores the hidden costs listener name of what might seem like small delays in your workflow.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that strong closing skills are only one part of the equation. Maximizing the potential of every lead that comes your way is equally crucial.
Right.
And this brings us to what the article identifies as a key differentiator for top performers. Those agents who are consistently closing over $2 million a month in luxury properties.
Right. They call it the 2-minute difference.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, these high-performing agents ensure that a remarkable 93% of their leads
Wow.
receive a substantive response within 2 minutes.
Wow.
My initial reaction was, how on earth are they consistently achieving that?
Right.
Are they literally on call 24/7? I mean, when they say substantive response within 2 minutes, are we talking about a full personalized reply?
Right?
Or is it more of an automated acknowledgement that just kind of sets expectations?
That's a good question. And the article clarifies that it's less about, superhuman effort
Okay.
and more about strategic implementation.
Okay.
These top agents aren't necessarily working, drastically more hours.
Right.
Instead, they're effectively leveraging systems, often incorporating automation, to handle that critical initial engagement almost instantaneously.
Okay.
So this provides that immediate acknowledgement, right?
Yeah.
And it sets the stage for a more personalized follow-up when the agent has the bandwidth.
Gotcha.
Think of it as a digital handshake.
Right.
These systems typically leverage natural language processing and preset responses to address common initial inquiries instantly, ensuring that no lid feels ignored while you focus on more, complex interactions.
That makes a lot of sense. And they even mention a response time impact chart in the article that visually illustrates this direct link between how quickly you respond and your potential revenue.
Yep.
It states that the difference between responding within just 5 minutes
Yeah.
and waiting 30 minutes can lead to a staggering 57% drop
Wow.
in the likelihood of converting that lead.
That's huge.
So a whole chart dedicated to this.
It is a dramatic illustration listener name.
Yeah.
And to bring it down to a tangible level,
Yeah.
the article provides this compelling example.
Okay.
So consider an agent who receives 25 inquiries per month for properties around that, $850,000 mark. That 57% reduction in conversion likelihood stemming from that seemingly small 25-minute delay
Right.
translates to over $14,000 in lost commission each and every month.
Wow.
So when you see the potential revenue leakage quantified like that,
Yeah.
it really underscores the urgency of addressing response times.
It really does hit home when you see those numbers.
Yeah.
So what do they propose as a solution to this significant leak?
Right.
They start talking about automation. And they share this specific success story about an agent named Sarah in Dallas
Right.
who implemented an AI-powered response system. What happened with Sarah?
So Sarah's experience, as detailed in the article, offers a compelling real-world example, I think, of the transformative power of automation in this context.
Okay.
So her average response time plummeted dramatically
Okay.
from a sluggish 2.7 hours down to an almost instantaneous under 2 minutes.
Wow. So almost immediate.
Almost immediate.
Yeah.
But the positive impacts extended far beyond just speed, right?
Yeah.
Her lead-to-appointment conversion rates more than doubled, jumping from 13% to an impressive 29%.
That's huge.
Yeah, and she apparently reclaimed a significant chunk of her week,
Okay.
a massive 26 hours
26 hours.
that she was previously dedicating to that initial lead qualification process.
That's like getting an entire extra workday back each week.
Precisely listener name,
Wow.
and perhaps most significantly for her bottom line.
Yeah.
her closed transaction numbers increased by a remarkable 41%
41%.
within just 90 days of implementing the system.
Wow.
That's a substantial and rapid improvement.
That's insane.
Yeah, and she even provides a quote saying that the system pays for itself every single day.
Wow.
And she specifically highlights the increased efficiency of being able to focus her energy on engaging with clients who are genuinely ready to move forward in the buying process.
So it sounds like a complete game changer for Sarah's business.
Absolutely.
And then they kind of shift their focus to this crucial concept of understanding your own individual revenue leak. Because as they rightly point out, every agent's circumstances are going to be unique, influenced by factors like their specific local market, the volume of leads they typically receive, the average price points of the properties they handle, and, of course, their current response times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, the article emphasizes that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
And that's precisely why they introduced the idea of a personalized revenue leak analysis.
Okay.
And this is presented as a valuable opportunity for listeners like you, listener name, to gain a tailored understanding of the potential financial impact that slow response times might be having on your business specifically.
And what does this revenue leak analysis involve?
So according to the article, it's offered as a free expert assessment
Okay.
that is customized to your particular market conditions and the volume of leads you typically handle.
Okay.
And they make a commitment to provide detailed, actionable recommendations within 24 hours of your request.
So this is like a no-brainer for anybody listening, right?
Yeah, it seems like a very direct and efficient way for agents to gain a clear and data-driven understanding of their potential losses.
Right.
And to pinpoint specific areas where improvements in response time could yield the most significant financial benefits.
Okay, and so the call to action here in the article is request my free analysis now.
That's right.
So who is the entity behind this analysis? And these AI-powered lead conversion systems that the article discusses, they mention a company called 𝐓𝐰𝐳𝐿𝐵𝐺𝑒.
Yes, 𝐓𝐰𝐳𝐿𝐵𝐺𝑒 is presented as a company that specializes in designing AI-powered lead conversion systems.
Okay.
Specifically tailored for high-performing real estate agents like yourself, listener name, who are focused on those higher-value property listings.
Okay.
Typically in the $750,000 and above range.
And in a nutshell, what are the core benefits they offer to agents?
So their primary focus seems to be on helping agents streamline their initial lead engagement process. This includes capabilities for pre-qualifying new leads, automatically providing instant responses to inquiries 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And ultimately aiming to add a consistent flow of 3 to 5 qualified appointments directly to the agent's calendar each week. All without requiring the agent to invest any additional personal time or effort in those initial stages.
Makes sense.
And the article encourages listeners who are interested in learning more about their specific approach and offerings to visit their website.
Okay.
Which is listed as https://socialvibesnexus.com/blog.
All right, so as we bring this deep dive to a close, the key takeaway from our exploration of the $18,750 leak article seems to be this undeniably critical link between the speed at which you respond to a new real estate lead, particularly in the competitive luxury market, and the actual amount of revenue you are likely to generate.
Exactly.
The data and examples presented in the article offer a really compelling case.
Yeah, they do.
For just how significantly those seemingly small delays can impact your bottom line.
It's huge.
Absolutely. And it really prompts a crucial moment of reflection, I think, for you, listener name. What does your current response time typically look like? And perhaps even more importantly, what potential revenue leak might be occurring in your business right now without you even being fully aware of it?
Without you even realizing it.
That's a really powerful and thought-provoking question. If just a few minutes can indeed translate into such a substantial financial difference, it really makes you wonder. What other seemingly minor inefficiencies might be lurking within your business operations, potentially having a massive but unseen impact on your overall success?
It's something worth exploring.
It's definitely something worth exploring further. Listener name, thanks so much for sharing this insightful article with us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it.